Hi, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. I want to talk for just a couple of minutes about economic warfare and how we probably need to get a little bit better involved in it. I was watching a video by by the way, my wife asked me just yesterday. She said, "Do you think you might want to put a little more activity in your videos?" And I said, "Why, like what?" "Well, I don't know, walking around or something." I said, "No, I don't think so. I have a hard enough time just talking, let alone walking while I'm trying to talk." I said, "I do hold my coffee cup here. Isn't that enough?" She says, "Well, you don't even drink out of it." I said, "And that's because I slurp when I drink. And that's rude, right?" So, and I'm used to drinking my coffee really hot, and when I do that, I need to cool it off with the old days. So I end up here and trying to be polite while I'm making these videos, and I cut myself working on the lawnmower today, so it just happened to be that finger. So I'm not. This isn't an indication of anything. It just happened to be that finger that's got the bandage on it. So anyway, I was watching a video, and I think it was a Real World Prepper. I'm not sure. I should have gone back and checked, but I'm kind of rushed for time, and I don't really have the time. But I'm 99% sure that it was Real World Prepper, and he was talking about the culture and the change of culture, and I've mentioned that myself, and many other people have. And what's happening in our country, and he asked the question, what can we do about it? Now you can come down on whatever side you'd like. It's too late to do anything about it, or maybe we can do something about it. Who knows? But I contend that just because if you're in a fight and you know you're going to lose, you don't stop fighting. There's always a chance that something really good will happen, and you'll come out okay. And that's kind of the way that I feel about this. Now, I haven't really gotten into cultural issues or much of politics before, but my books are really about that. They're not just about survival and EMP and such as that. And for those of you who have read them, you know that. As a matter of fact, some of the biggest hits that I've taken on a couple of my bad reviews, and people who didn't like them, it was because of the traditional values that I promote in them, and the patriotism that I promote, and excuse me, and the religious references that I make. I've had a couple of scathing one-star reviews people who just couldn't stand the fact that I mentioned anything that the way that Stonemont ran on the Ten Commandments and the Golden Rule, and they thought that was horrible, and they thought it was horrible that people reverted to traditional gender roles and things like that. And those people, hey, thanks for buying the book, but I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it, but those aren't the people I was really writing for. What can we do? And I contend that we can do a great deal. And by doing things individually, I'm not a big group guy. I think that all big things are made up by many smaller things, and but I think that we can do a great deal if we work individually according to what we maintain we believe. There has been a great change in our society and our culture, and that change has been driven by interests promoted, supported, and then enforced politically. And I don't have to explain what they all are. I'm not going to get into specifics. And as a matter of fact, I'm purposely not going to get into specifics because it needs to be approached generally, not specifically. And I'll explain that in just a second. If you're going to war, you don't buy the bullets for the other side. Okay. and that's what we're doing. When the interests that work against the values that most of us share, if you're watching my channel, you probably do share the values that I have, at least to a great extent. So I had to go off and do something for just a second. So I'll try to come right back to where I was. Those people who feel like us, we support unknowingly, perhaps, or just because it's too much trouble not to. We support financially those interests that are out to destroy the things that we believe in, and that's where we have to change it. Real World Prepper asked, and I'm sorry if it wasn't you, Real World. I'm sorry. I think it's 99% that it was, and you just asked, what can we do? And this is what I think we can do. We have to stop supporting these people, and the way to do that is simply stop buying their stuff. These interests, the ones that threaten our families, the American traditions that we hold dear, they come out of Hollywood. They come out of special interests. They come out of certain people in government. They wouldn't be able to do that without money, and where they get their money is too often us. When people ask me about this, I tell them to simply Google certain causes that the person disagrees with, and I'm not even going to mention one here because it's not one; it's all of them. Okay, and so what I would suggest, we don't. For instance, there's a big furniture store that we won't buy furniture from them. Because we know where their money, their contributions go, their political contributions, and when we say that to people, very often we're surprised that people who maintain that they feel the same we do on social issues, they just kind of throw it off and they go, oh well, everybody does it, blah blah blah. And it's probably just because they want to save a few bucks at this one furniture store, and that's the problem. We have to quit buying the bullets that are killing our society, and the way to do that is simply for everybody, to pass this on to your friends and others who think the same way we do, and Google it. Google who gives to such and such, movement? Who gives to this or that social program? Okay. And get that list, and you'll be surprised. And there will be a lot of things on there you'll go, oh no, man, I like that place. Gosh, how am I going to live without that? Well, that's the decision that you make. You decide that you can live without that or you can't. And I think that's where the rubber meets the road, to where a lot of individual, very small decisions go into making something fairly powerful. And up till now, a lot of small decisions of those people like us, like-minded people, we keep spending our money and giving our money to these companies that support these causes that we are against. And we got to stop it. And if more people stop it across the board, not just one, but across the board, and print out some of these lists and give it to your wife or your husband, and give it to your friends that believe the same as you, and say, let's make a concerted effort. I don't believe in necessarily individual boycotts, because they can work, not work, they can boomerang all sorts of things. I believe in a broader based response, and I think this is how we need to do it. I'm just encouraging people to do it. We do it. Try to do it yourself, and for every dime you don't give them, it's a dime they don't have to invest in the further collapse of what we believe in. Okay? Okay, so that's my 2 cents today, and I'd kind of stayed away from getting cultural and political this way. But if you read my books, you'll see it's all through it. That's what I wrote about. That's the message that I was carrying, wrapped up in a story about how we the revolting man said. It's kind of the rebuilding of the world the way that I think it should be, and the way that a lot of others do too, I think. So I'll leave it at that and bid you a good night, and remember to prepare well today so that you can live well tomorrow. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye.